All right, y'all. Real quick, I just want to add one thing. Um, my thoughts and prayers go out to the families of the victims in Aurora, Colorado, about just this horrible, horrible incident that happened. If you've been living under a rock, I feel sorry for you if you don't know what happened. But this guy who went nuts and dressed up like the Joker, I guess. He shot and injured. Um, over I think it was over 40 some people in total. 15 of them were killed. I think something like that. But I've been hearing different numbers. But just my thoughts and prayers go out to them. It's really unfortunate. I just felt like I needed to do that. All right, y'all. Peace. Listen to the whole review. Oh, better late than never, right, people? Um, this is Nightmare Comics 1. I hadn't seen y'all niggas in like a month. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I just hadn't been in the mood to make videos. I still read comics. I still, I'm still a geek. You know what I mean? It's just I hadn't really been in the mood to come on. Like I wanted to come on here and talk about some of the Valiant comic stuff that have been coming out. I wanted to come on here talk about Marvel Now a little bit. Other shit is going on. Like last time I think I was on here, I was talking about Legend of Korra. Yeah, I mean, I kind of wanted to talk about some of the Comic-Con announcements, Walking Dead 100, but seems like Batman and drove me back out of out of the cave. This is my review of The Dark Knight Rises, and I ain't gonna be long because I think everything that needs to be said about this movie has been said, like by everyone else, so I won't be too long. But don't kill me when I say this. Like people don't kill me. Don't kill me at all. This was not perfect. Um, Sorry. You know. Do I think it's amazing? Yeah, probably my favorite in the series. But let me explain to you why this standalone piece should not be how this movie is judged. Because see, I think motherfuckers are forgetting the word trilogy, and this is indeed a trilogy. The point of the third movie is, which is what a lot of third movies fail to do, is wrap up everything as tightly and as well as possible. So there is incoherent. There's a coherent ending, that fed off the beginning and also did not let the middle seem insignificant. If that made sense, how that came out. This movie ties into Batman Begins way more than it ties into The Dark Knight. However, with that being said, The Dark Knight is just as important as Begins because a major part of this story is, the Dent Act and Harvey Dent and, him getting the prisoners locked up in Blackgate, Gordon's integrity, all that shit. You know what I mean? That's a big part of this movie. And, if you hadn't seen The Dark Knight, you wouldn't even know why that's important. I'm not here to review The Dark Knight, though. So I won't go too in-depth about The Dark Knight. Let me just talk about this. I'm not even going to talk about the plot too much, because that's also kind of giving shit away. So I won't even do that. But, I will just say that plot-wise, to me, I felt like this had the best ending of all the movies. You know what I mean? I feel like this had, honestly, one of the best endings I ever seen. You know what I mean? I'm just talking about in terms of an ending. Maybe not the last action scene, but even though I really like that too, but I'm just talking about the ending, the last 5 minutes. Like one of the best endings I ever seen. You know what I mean? Just let me talk about the characters a little bit. I guess I will. I touch on the plot a little bit. It's been 8 years since the events of The Dark Knight, and Batman and Bruce Wayne have not been seen by the public in 8 years. You know what I mean? And Bruce is just kind of holed up in his house. You know what I mean? He's pretty much like me. He's just kind of wasted away, by himself. You know what I mean? And pretty much wallowing in what happened 8 years ago. You know what I mean? Just everything with Dent and all that shit. You know what I mean? Gordon's the commissioner of police, and he's advanced his career, but he's not happy because he has to keep this lie up about the real truth behind Harvey Dent and what happened 8 years ago. Or is it 9 years ago? I don't know. I apologize. I'm pretty sure C-Dude9590 be all in my comments correcting me and shit. And I'm gonna talk about, you know, the fans at the end of this review. I want to talk about the movie first. Um, and at 8 years go by, whatever shit happens. Bane arrives in Gotham. I'm not really gonna give away his plot too much. I'll talk about what kind of tied in, what kind of books tied into the plot a little bit. But I really don't even want to talk about this plot. I won't even talk about the plot. I just talk about scenes I liked and characters I enjoyed, what I thought worked, what I thought didn't work. I'm gonna start with Bane because this might not be popular opinion, but I truly don't give a fuck. In terms of staying true to source material and kind of taking the idea of a character, even though it's reimagined, obviously it's Nolan, because he took some liberties with Bane's origin. Obviously, if you see the end, you know what I'm talking about. Took some liberties with Bane's origin. Obviously Bane's South American or Mexican, whatever. Something that speaks Spanish. he's Hispanic, in the comic book universe or whatever. And he's obviously not in this. He's obviously some sort of British or something like that. And he also doesn't use Venom, but in terms of like motivation and the things the character is kind of known for, I think Nolan kind of just stuck to the script. You know what I mean? I think he took the Ra's al Ghul approach with this, unlike Joker, where Joker was like totally different. You know what I mean? I say Heath Ledger didn't do a great job, but Joker was totally different from anything he's ever been ever. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, Bane, aside from him not using Venom and being, I don't know, British, virtually the same. You know what I mean? Some of his ideals, some of the things he said, just everything is virtually, Bane pretty much. You know what I mean? And they do this thing with Bane where he's outside of the Blackgate prison, after he blew up the football field and all that shit. And if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this review because as I said, I'm not gonna talk about the plot. Just gonna talk about what I enjoyed. After he does that, he's outside of the prison, and it really reminded me of something Chuck Dixon straight up wrote. You know what I mean? That whole speech, and then him whipping out what Gordon was going to say at the beginning of the movie, and him actually reading that shit on television, shit like that. You know what I mean? And they did the Bane and Batman fight. The first fight. You know what I mean? They did the break you spot, and the actual spot, the actual spot came off just as well as it did in the comics. Here's my problem. It ain't even a problem. Yeah, it ain't even a problem. The reason why I didn't, I expect, the spot itself was, the way they shot it, the way they filmed it, Nolan's a genius. But the thing is this, okay? The reason why that shit worked for me in the comics, the reason why, it wasn't the fact that he did it that worked so well in the books. You know what I mean? And I know before y'all go crazy, this Nolan, he does this, and it wouldn't have made sense for them to do it exactly the same. I'm totally acknowledging this, people. I'm not saying this is a flaw. Before all y'all, I get to y'all fans. Like I said, I get to y'all. This is gonna be all over the place too. But they were gonna do they did the spot or whatever. The spot itself looked good, but it didn't make me honestly, it didn't affect me like I thought it was going to. You know what I mean? I figured they were gonna do it. You know what I mean? But it just the reason why it in the comic or whatever, if you don't know, Bane actually just showed up in Wayne Manor. You know what I mean? And it was kind of random too. Like Batman had just ran his gauntlet. This is Nightfall Part 1, by the way. Batman had just ran his gauntlet or whatever, and then you know what I'm saying? It's Bane just showed, he is exhausted. And then after everything that happens, he goes to go upstairs, go in the manor, and then the door just gets punched open and it's Bane. He beats him down all over Wayne Manor and then breaks his back and leaves him there. And it's my favorite single issue of all time of any comic book ever. You know what I mean? And, that moment, it didn't come off the same in this movie. But that's a minor complaint though, just minor. But I thought Bane was honestly the best Batman villain ever on the big screen. Yes, you Heath Ledger marks. Yes, all you Joker marks. I thought that Bane was actually done better in this movie than he was in than the Joker was done in The Dark Knight. Oh my God, Heath Ledger won an Oscar. Oh my God, oh, you know how I got these scars? Shut up. But yeah, he was great. You know what I mean? But if you want to know before you start speaking on Bane, though, and I'll have to address the stands real quick. This is talking to the stands, and when I say stands, I mean that in the most inaffectionate way possible. Okay, when I say stand, I mean someone that thinks they know. You know what I mean? Thinks they know, about a certain subject. In this case, we're gonna say, Batman, for instance. All because they've seen these Nolan movies. You know what I mean? And not even the Nolan movies, but the Burton movies and the Schumacher movies and shit like that. You know what I mean? Before you want to talk about Bane and how Bane was done and all that shit, please read Nightfall. Please read even read Secret Six. You know what I mean? But I would say the Dixon stuff. You know what I mean? But Secret Six is kind of how he's been done lately. And, you know what I mean? It's different, but it still works. You know what I mean? Even though Secret Six is over since the reboot or whatever. But but still, before you decide you want to, Bane, that's not right. Because before you want to do that, before you want to, and all you motherfuckers that said, oh, well, I don't know, how can you replace a villain like the Joker with Bane? You realize that if it was up to you, Stans, Bane would not have been in this. We would have got some shit like the Riddler. Let me explain to you why that wouldn't have worked. All these motherfuckers that said they wanted the Riddler, let me explain why no, okay? The Riddler is a C-list Batman villain. Simple as that. The Riddler, although fun, some of his stories have been fun. You know what I mean? He was done really well in Batman Hush, even though I don't really like that book. But he was done really well in that. The reason why the Riddler would not have worked, because he's just a C-lister. He has never done anything to impact the history of Batman. Real shit. I can't think of anything significant that the Riddler has ever done. You know what I mean? Bane, as I said, Bane was the first opponent that Batman ever had that he could not physically just defeat. He was the first one. You know what I mean? Physically and mentally, he was on par with Bruce Wayne. Physically, he surpassed Bruce Wayne. And mentally, you could say he even surpassed Bruce Wayne too. You know what I mean? The Riddler had never done anything like that to the degree of what Bane did. So all y'all motherfuckers that complain that Bane was the villain coming into this movie are stupid. I didn't complain because I knew, I was like, okay, after the Joker, they got to do somebody big. You know what I mean? I was thinking somebody like, maybe even Hush. You know what I mean? Maybe Hush, even though I don't really like the book. You know what I mean? I was thinking, but after The Dark Knight and after, Heath Ledger passed away and all that, I was thinking, maybe Hush, maybe, even Prometheus a little bit, like to a degree. You know what I mean? Maybe being like the anti-Batman, something a little bit different. Maybe even Owlman. I was thinking shit like that. You know what I mean? Not necessarily a parallel universe Batman, but a guy with the resources of Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean? Kind of taking, you know what I mean? Something like that. Maybe something like that. You know what I mean? When he said Bane, I wasn't worried about it being Bane. I was worried about how Nolan was going to do Bane. Because, as you know, Nolan's universe is hyper-realistic, man. And I was just wondering, how are you going to do a character that is twice the size of Batman and inject and takes a poison, essentially it's a poison, and it makes him grow 2 times the size of what he is. You know what I mean? And he did a very good job of using a substitute for it with the whole, I guess, morphine. I think that's what it was. I can't remember, but it was like it let him not feel any pain and shit like that, and he got I don't want to ruin that. But, that shit. You know what I mean? It worked for me. Totally worked for me. You know what I mean? Totally worked for me. But, as I said, Bane was A++ to me. To me, Bane was the star of this movie. And I think he's the best Nolan Batman villain. That's just real shit. I think it goes in terms of villains. I think it goes Bane, Heath Ledger, then Liam Neeson. And that's not a knock to Liam Neeson at all, because it's gotten to the point where, when I read Ra's al Ghul now, I kind of hear Liam Neeson's voice. That's how good he was too. When I read the Joker, though, I don't hear Heath Ledger. I hear Mark Hamill, but we ain't gonna get into that. Anyway, let me skip that. As I said, Bane was great. Bruce slash Batman. I thought this was Christian Bale's best performance ever in a movie or shit. Like at first I thought it was Batman Begins. Yeah, I mean, but I thought he was great in this. I mean, at least in all the movies I've seen him in. I think I've seen most of this shit, and yes, I think so. I don't know if I'm forgetting something, whatever. But I thought he was great in this. You know what I mean? I thought he, especially when the scene where and this is a spoiler, the scene where Alfred tells him that Rachel left him that note that said she chose Harvey over him anyway. You know what I mean? And then like how pissed he got. You know what I mean? Like that shit worked for me. Like he said his face didn't change, but he raises his face like genuinely turned red. It was like I was like, wow, he seems like he's mad. I mean, he did a good job in this. And in the part after they did the break you spot and the whole sequence where we're finding out about the history of where they are and all that shit. The thing with the as I said, I don't want to ruin the plot, but that whole part where he's trying to rehab and escape where he is. You know what I mean? Just that whole sequence, like Christian Bale is amazing. Is straight up amazing in that part. And I just thought he was great, man. I thought he was spot. I thought this is his best performance as Batman. That like the voice didn't seem stupid. That's my biggest problem with the Dark Knight, man. The voice is just, I'm sorry, y'all. The voice is stupid, but it wasn't dumb in this. The Batman voice wasn't dumb at all in this. It was dope. He was dope. Michael Caine as Alfred was also great. I mean, he actually, got to kind of flex his acting chops in this, which is something he didn't do in the first two movies. Michael Caine is a great actor anyway, and he actually got to act in this. You know what I mean? It's just you see him he's in two really important scenes, and like the other important scenes it's like both of them he cries. Yeah? It's like he's the ugliest crier in the world, but the shit worked. Yeah, he was great in this. And I like the I like the I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna spoil. He leaves Bruce because Bruce is going back to being Batman. He's like, I ain't gonna bury you, son. If you gonna do this shit, I ain't gonna be here for it. You know what I mean? So he leaves. You know what I mean? Some shit like that. I think that's what happened. Is that what happened? No, I forget. No, I'm wrong. I'm wrong as hell. Whatever. But the part he leaves, that's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Who else? Oh yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt as John Blake. I think that was his name. Lieutenant John Blake, Detective John Blake. He was dope, man. I honestly thought that in terms of the protagonist, he was my favorite in the whole movie. Like even more so than Batman. And then I love the end. I loved it. The end is like the best because at the very end of it, they do this thing where it's okay, hopefully I can edit that. But I was talking about Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I think he was great. I mean, like he was great. He was a great protagonist. I mean, he's my favorite in the whole movie. To be honest with you, I liked the scene where he went to go meet with Bruce, and he just pretty much knew he was Batman. He was like, I saw you, and he said, I know something in you, shit like that. Yeah, I mean, it pretty much a lot of the biggest complaint people had with this movie is that I heard a lot of people complain, it's not enough action, and there's not like that many scenes with there's not that many parts where Bruce is Batman and he's kind of whooping ass as Batman and stuff like that, But I felt like it honestly wouldn't have fit, to be honest with you. Like it wouldn't have. The plot. This movie is more plot driven. You know what I mean? This is a crime movie that happens to involve a comic book character. Don't get it twisted and think that this is going to be like the Avengers, which I get to at the end of this video. And it's not necessarily a comic book movie. It's not a summer action film. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's a crime movie that stars a comic book character with a huge budget. Simple as that. It's not necessarily a summer action flick. Even though there's summer action scenes and shit like that in it, that's not the type of movie it is. That's just being real. But like I was saying, I was talking about Joseph Gordon-Levitt. As I said, he was great. They did a great thing at the end where I don't want to ruin it, but they did like this great thing at the end where if Nolan had Nolan decided not to leave, to be honest with you, and let this be his last movie, there are about 50,000 things he could have done with that ending. You know what I mean? And all of them involve John Blake's character. So that was that was dope. He was dope. Anne Hathaway, Selena Kyle. Had my reservations about it at first. I ain't the biggest Catwoman fan in general. Y'all, if y'all know me, people that know me know that. But she was great, man. She was the demeanor, everything, the way she delivered her lines and all that stuff. It screams Selena. Yeah, I mean, even the kiss at the end, all that. Yeah, it was she was great. Like I don't want to talk too much about her because, as I said, I didn't care who that was, to be honest with you, because I don't really like Catwoman. But this is like one of the best times she's ever been depicted. You know what I mean? Like to be real with you, coming from someone that knows Batman lore, I can tell you this is one of the best times she's ever been depicted. Anne Hathaway did a bang up job and should be commended. Real shit. Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon was great. Anybody else I need to talk about? Everybody else was just kind of minimal. Even the little twist at the end that was kind of given away all through like solicits and stuff. But I tried to stay away from that, but somebody wouldn't allow me to. But honestly, I didn't really like that. To be real with you, I thought it was kind of weak. I thought the twist, like the thing is that you find out a certain character is not who they say they are. You know what I mean? I don't want to ruin it, but they're not who they say they are. And I thought the actual part where you find out they're not who they say they are was kind of weak to me. You know what I mean? And I thought the backstory behind it was amazing, but I thought the actual moment was weak. You know what I mean? And I thought that this character's death was also weak. You know what I mean? But as I said, this movie is not perfect. You know what I mean? But I don't want to talk too much about this character anyway. But I kind of thought just in general, I thought she was weak. That's just being real. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just thought she was weak. Anything else? I think that does it in terms of characters. But let me talk about a little bit about some of the complaints people have about this movie. As I said, the Batman thing, how people say he's not Batman enough. Motherfuckers also been saying it's too long. I got a question. If it's too long, what do you cut out? Because I don't know. Like you really have to, you gonna have to dig to try and cut some, what you gonna cut out of it. You know what I mean? What didn't need to be in it? You know what I mean? I thought yeah, it's long, but that's why I say it's more of a crime drama. Because, there's a lot of times when people just sitting around and talking, but, it's just damn near, what is it, 2 hours and 40 minutes? Anyway, I just thought that, I think that the criticism that some people have of this movie is a little too harsh, because I think they expected the greatest movie of all time, when really, this is the greatest trilogy of all time. You know what I mean? Not the greatest, not to me, not one of these movies are the greatest movie of all time, but together as one piece is damn near perfect. You know what I mean? All three of them, like Begins, Dark Knight Rises, all of them together is just perfect. You know what I mean? That's just me. Well, damn near perfect. You have to look at it as a third movie. Don't look at it, you know what I mean? Like, it's, as a movie itself, is just great. You know what I mean? But if you look at it as, the end all be all, it has two other things it ties into. You know what I mean? It ties up the trilogy. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. Return of the Jedi is not a perfect movie. You know what I mean? But it ties up episode 4, episode 5. You know what I mean? It is not perfect. Most people would say that Empire Strikes Back is the best one. You know what I mean? I would actually agree with that. But Just like most people would say the Dark Knight is the best one. But how many people you know take anything away from the Return of the Jedi because it's not Empire Strikes Back? Which is why I don't get people doing that to this movie. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. People, oh, it's not that good. It's this and it's that. How? Because it's not what you know. It's not the Dark Knight, even though I think it's better than Dark Knight. But it's not the Dark Knight. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense. It makes no sense to me at all. Um, Now let me get into the big thing. As I said, I think the movie's great. You know, you know, yeah, it's amazing. It's everything you wanted it to be as a third movie and more. You know what I mean? It's to me. It's just me. But I want to talk about the dumbest thing that has brewed from all this. And I didn't think it was gonna happen, but I should have waited for this movie to come out. I should have known better. I should have known better. And that is the fanboy war. Um, Ridiculous. Okay, if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, which is Avengers came out May 4th, I think, this year, and y'all want to know I thought about that or in depth. My review of that is on my channel, and I think that movie is amazing, and it had a ton of moments where, as just a fanboy and as a geek, I completely lost it. You know what I mean? And then you have this movie that, Dark Knight Rises is one of the biggest movies probably the biggest movie of the year, to be real with you. Like, in terms of anticipation and all that stuff. Either this or Avengers. You know what I mean? There's no argument for no other movie. You know what I mean? One of those two. And with that being said, this is also, I thought, was amazing. You know what I mean? The as good as you can possibly imagine. You know what I mean, for a third film. But it's this stupid fanboy war that's going on that people want to pick apart each one to build the other. You know what I mean? And it's ridiculous to me. Just absolutely ridiculous to me. Because I feel like that they are totally different. Avengers is a popcorn flick in every sense of the word. I love it. I've seen it 8 times now, I think. 7 times now. I've seen it 7 times now. I fucking love that movie. Hadn't seen Amazing Spider-Man yet. Don't want to. You know what I mean? I've seen Avengers 7 times now, And I thought, I love that. Y'all listen to my review. I love that movie. But it is a popcorn film in every sense of the word. It's not much of a plot. It's like it's the simplest plot in the world. Bad guy wants complete power, so he has to do something to get complete power. But by doing what he does, the world is at risk. A bunch of heroes have to come together because the world has faced the biggest threat it's ever seen, and they fight. You know what I mean? This movie has, antagonists with no real sense of direction at all. The Dark Knight Rises is just an antagonist who has a plan. You know what I mean? But the plan constantly evolves and changes. You know what I mean? And then you have a major plot twist at the very end. You know what I mean? And just it is a very deep film, which is why I think they are drastically different and should not be compared. Like, and please don't ask me which one I enjoyed more, because I couldn't give you an answer. I'll say this. I've seen this twice, and until it comes out on Blu-ray/DVD, digital download, whatever, you know what I mean, I probably won't go see this again. The reason being is because, I feel like it's more of a cerebral type film, and I kind of want to be in the comfort of my house to watch it. That's just real shit. Meanwhile, Avengers is more of explosions, boom, stuff blowing up in your face. You know what I mean? A lot of nerd moments and stuff. It's just, like, that's why I want to go see it so much. You know what I mean? And also, this was going to be something that I've been waiting my whole life for. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, The Dark Knight Rises, even though as much as I've been anticipating it and things like that, you know what I mean? It's Nolan. You know what I mean? You don't know. I didn't know what to expect plot wise, but I knew I'd enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's not like I was like chomping at the bit to see it. You know what I'm saying? But You cannot deny this either one of those movies' greatness, and I'm sick of it. I'm tired of the war. The arguments aren't even like the arguments kind of contradict themselves. You know what I mean? Well, the Dark Knight made this much opening weekend. The Avengers made this much opening weekend. Who gives a damn? Who gives a damn? Fact is this. Fact is this. You went to go see both of them opening weekend. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Who cares? You know what I mean? Neither one are the Amazing Spider-Man. There you go. But as I said, yo, this movie is incredible. Let me talk about the fanboys getting on people that don't like this movie. As I said, here's a good example. I'm a big fan of Spill.com. Go to that website if you like to. They have a rating system on that site where it's fuck you for a terrible movie. Absolutely, I mean, just horrible, no redeeming qualities at all. Some old bullshit for a stupid movie. You know what I mean? A rental for a movie that has redeeming qualities, but it's really not even like, it's really only worth watching like one time and only if it's on TV or something like that. Matinee for something that's not worth spending full price on, just going to a day matinee if you just want to have a good time, like on, like if you got a day off and you just want to have a good time. Full Price is a really good movie that you should really want to go see, and Better Than Sex, which is an absolutely phenomenal film. You know what I mean? People got mad at one of the reviewers on the site, dude by the name of Corey. People got mad at him because he gave this movie a high matinee. You know what I mean? And then it's not even that he just said high matinee. He talked about his problems in the film, which I'm not gonna get into that. You can listen to a review if you want to. I don't necessarily agree with him, but it's not like he just said, high matinee, whatever, it's overrated. He didn't do that. He didn't even say it's overrated. He just said he wasn't jizzing his pants when you know what I mean? That's all he said. But yet, motherfuckers are jumping on him. Anybody that didn't have, that didn't say this is the best movie ever made, like a lot of these fanboys are just jumping all over. You know what I mean? And it's absolutely it's just mind blowing to me. It's mind blowing. It's like motherfuckers had their mind made up that this was gonna be perfection before it even came out. And it's not. I'm sorry, it's not. I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying more negative things about it than positive things, because I do love the movie. I love Bane. Bane is amazing in this. Bane is probably my favorite Batman villain. You know what I mean? Him or Two-Face. You know what I mean? And I got both in Nolan movies, and I'm happy with both. You know what I mean? But either Bane or Two-Face, Ra's al Ghul, and I got all three. You know what I mean? I'm happy with all three. One of those three. I don't know which one. One of those three. You know what I mean? And Bane is the reason why I stayed with comics. You know what I mean? I was that's what got me hooked. That's what got me as a lifer. You know what I mean? So as I said though, if somebody doesn't like this, there's no need to just jump down their throat. Unless they just talk, saying some bullshit. Just to get attention or whatever. But whatever. It's not. This movie's not perfect. I'm sorry. It's just not. But but as I said, as a third movie though, it's just look at it as that. You know what I mean? If you do, you will enjoy it as much as some of these fanboys did. You know what I mean? It is truly that great. Real shit. I ain't seen it in IMAX yet. I will change that soon, but it's truly that great. But as I said, y'all, I will holler at y'all later. Oh, let me talk about a little cool thing I did like in the movie before I get off here. This is random, as I said, all over the place. And this is a terrible review. Absolutely horrible. Thumbs this down. But there's this part where Catwoman shows up in one of the characters, like one of the it's this guy. He's corrupt. He's pretty much setting up Bruce and things like that to pretty much take over Wayne Enterprises, and he has Bane working for him and all sorts of shit. Selena Kyle shows up there, and they her and Batman, they fight off some of his goons or whatever, and Selena goes to shoot one of them, and like Batman knocks away her gun, and that right there, it just resonated with me. I was like, wow, Nolan, you care. You know what I mean? It's the thing I love about this dude is that he has taken liberties with Batman and everything about Batman. You know what I mean? But you can tell that nigga respects, you know what I mean, the history of Batman, you know what I mean, and the mythos of Batman, which is the thing I love the most about Nolan. I think I'm in on that note on this review. But I will holler at y'all later. The next video I'm gonna make, I want to talk about either Marvel Now, Walking Dead 100, which shouldn't be long because yeah, but I don't know yet. But either one of those two, I'm pretty sure it's gonna maybe some of the Valiant releases. Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know, but I don't know yet. But I'll holler at y'all. Peace.